guys? Welcome back to the OGT podcast. We got my boy Hayden Childers on here today. We grew up playing football together, baseball together. I don't think we ever won a state championship in baseball, but we did some cool stuff. And we got my boy Mike on here, my temporary co-host still. Yeah. And, but Hayden, I got to ask you, man, whose time are you on?
Whose time am I on?
Yeah, whose time are you on?
On my time.
No, bro, you're on God's time. We're just gonna keep that in there. We're just gonna keep it in there. You're supposed to say you're on God's time.
Man, I haven't watched enough of your videos to know.
That's okay. But Hayden, tell us a little bit about your platform. Tell us a little bit about your testimony about who you are, man.
All right. Well, first of all, to some people that don't know me, I'm Hayden Childers. Well, man, I'm from Batesville, Arkansas, or Cord, Arkansas, just a little town. My mom's a teacher. My dad's a pastor. Played sports all my life. I've always grown up in church. Ever since I was a little kid. My dad's been a pastor as long as I can remember. He was actually at Williams when before he became a pastor. So I don't know if you knew that, Caleb.
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, so we used to live in some apartments right beside Williams when I was till like 4 years old. So anyways, I've been saved since I was around, I think I was 9 years old by the time I got saved. And, there's nothing just big that went on. Obviously my dad's a pastor. I've always been around church and, he led me to Christ. So, not a huge testimony. I've just, ever since then, I've just been trying to live for the Lord and just do the best I can do to glorify him through all that I do. So you kind of ask a little bit about my platform, what do you mean by
well,
a little TikToking?
Yeah, if you don't know, Hayden has 1 million followers on TikTok. Go check his videos out. He does dancing videos. If his sister is in his videos, then he always goes viral. But if not, sometimes he does, but not as nearly as much as if Aubrey.
No, I'm with you 100%, dude. Like, it wasn't. It's definitely not a one-man show type thing with all that. She's definitely what gets me the big likes, the big views, man. That's just how it is. But how it all started is honestly kind of funny. So it was before my freshman year of college. TikTok was a big thing, and so I just downloaded it. And I used to make just funny videos back when I was younger. Anyway, so I made these funny mom videos of my mom, how she acts, and she's got the big Southern accent. So I used to make these funny videos. So I got 20,000 followers in a month. I just remember waking up one morning after I made this funny mom video, just some stupid video, and had 7,000 followers. Obviously I was freaking out. I'm like, oh, let's go. Yeah. I've always kind of liked that. And anyways, I get to freshman year and I'm like, man, I'm about to start playing ball. I'm about to meet new people. I ain't going to let these guys see my TikTok of me making these mom videos, bro. That's just how I was I can't do it. So I put it on private. And then anyways, time started going, and I had some friends that were, I have some friends here that are pretty dope. And so we started making TikToks, and anyways, I unprivate it. We just made a couple goofing around. Then obviously COVID hit, which, sucks for that. So we had to end up going home. And so my sister, Aubrey, who's basically my partner in crime, she used to make these little videos all the time, so my mom would always be texting me hey, she wants followers so bad, duet her, do all this, and I had probably 40,000 at the time. And anyway, so I used to just mess with her so bad.
I remember you're
I was like, man, you're never gonna blow up, Obs. I remember making a video, and she loved to do the dances, and I really never did it, but obviously I can dance a little bit, but
yeah.
Anyway, so one time I was just like, hey, let's make this video. So like we just made one video, and sure enough, like it blew up pretty good. I mean, it probably got like 100,000 views, and I was like, man, this is kind of cool. You know, Aubrey, of course, was just like, hey, did you see the video? It blew up, blah, blah, blah. And anyway, so after that happened, I was like, you know, let's make a couple more. And obviously at the time, you know, and still it's fun making them, like trying to get it to be perfect and look. And anyway, so I just started rolling with it. And we just started, I mean, just in the followers came the views. People love her. People love like the brother sister duo type thing like that, you know. You know, she was so little at the time too. She's a little cute, you know, the big brother. That's just how it is. But, you know, I just kind of took off with it, and we really just had fun doing it. You know, it never got to the point either where I was like just stressing like, oh, I have to get followers. I have to get this. Yeah. I mean, obviously I wanted to, but it was just having fun with her. And obviously, you know, a lot of great things have come from it. And, you know, it's just kind of how it is now until now. It's like been like a year and a half, basically. So it's been awesome. But I've enjoyed it. It really brought me closer to, you know, it's COVID, you know, it sucked and I had to be home, but it really brought me closer to my siblings, just being able to make these just videos just with them, you know, just all the time. So that was just a really great part of it for me.
Well, that's awesome. Have you if you guys don't know, he also plays baseball at OBU, Washita Baptist University. And how has it been like being a student athlete, but also being a Christian athlete? Like, have you ever felt like, you know, since you have more of a following, like, do you feel more pressured to not mess up, I guess I'd say?
You know, if I think about the following and what I've posted, you know, it's really never been too hard because, you know, obviously, like, you know, I have a little sister. We're not going to dance to this type of music, or, you know, I already don't, you know, I don't vibe with too much music that, you know, curses or talks about the wrong thing, you know, but, you know, sometimes it's not too big of a pressure, I don't think, you know, especially like with the following. I mean, obviously I am who I am. So like, you know, whether I lose followers or gain followers, if people know I'm Christian or not, I mean, I don't think it's really been that big of a pressure. But, you know, as a Christian athlete here at Washita, man, I really am blessed to just be at the school I am. Got to know a bunch of guys that really love the Lord, and I've got to help lead some guys that have been on my team to the Lord, you know, and just seeing guys change. And I'm blessed to be at a school that's just like always encouraging to, you know, get to know God and just get a better relationship with Him. So, and I've just created a bunch of great friends through that. So I think God put me at the school that I needed to be at. So for that, it's been awesome.
That's awesome. Well, I will definitely say, when I first, I felt God leading me to Williams, even like out of high school. Like I felt Him like leading me here. And I kind of, like you said about, you know, the school bringing you closer to the Lord. I guess I kind of had that stigmatism that was like, oh, it's a Christian college. It's going to be strict and they're not going to let me breathe. You know, I can't make eye contact.
That's true.
But like, I will say, dude, in my time here, I have definitely, Caleb, what's up? I'm in the middle of a podcast. Hold on. Please shut the door. I love you. No, I'm not. No. Oh my gosh. Okay. You know, we won't even edit it out. That's fine. That was the manager of our basketball team, one of my boys.
There goes another blooper for you.
Yeah, there goes.
Student
assistant, my fault. Student assistant. But yeah, no, I love it here. I really do. And everyone's really like brought me closer to the Lord. Michael, when you were in college, how was your experience with that? Like, did you necessarily have people that, you know, brought you closer? Like, I guess I'm a sophomore, he's a junior. So, I mean, I guess maybe around that time period.
I'll keep it a buck. First freshman year, halfway through my sophomore year, I was like, I'm gonna do me. And so I didn't go buck wild. Don't get me wrong. I didn't go too crazy, but I definitely was like, let me dial back my Christianese, my Christian persona. And then it got to a point where I was just like, nah. After I had my what I call my true come to Jesus moment, and I was laying there and I was broken and I was boo-hooing and crying, feeling empty, being like, God, help me. And he showed up and he showed out. And it was right there that I was like, all right, I need to find like new people to hang around. I need to like get more serious about my word and watch what I'm saying, what I'm doing, and who I'm with. And it was from there I really started finding fellow believers, like got into contact with a couple campus outreach. Campus outreach actually at A-State to Chi Alpha to FCA, BCM. Like I was everywhere. Like my social circles completely like flopped real quick.
Yeah. Hayden, would you say? Oh, what?
No, you're good. I was just gonna say, coming off of him, like, obviously being at a Baptist school, people are going to be people no matter where you're at.
Oh yeah,
100%. Baptist school, man. Like half the people here, more than half the people here, I think, play sports. They come here for sports a lot of the time.
Right.
Just how it is, and
that's the same thing.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't come from the same background as you. So, obviously for me too, I've been blessed to be in this atmosphere, but, there's obviously been a lot of struggles just, trying to keep my faith in Christ and trying to act like a follower around just different people, like he said, he had to start, or like Michael said, like he had to kind of start choosing his crowds, like that's how it is for me. Like whether I'm gonna, am I gonna look like, how do I look to people that I want them to think I'm a Christian and I want to act a certain way, but how are they going to think when I'm out doing this with these people? Like, even if I may not be participating in what's going on, but, I'm there, how's people going to be? And over time, it struggled with, I did struggle with temptation, just doing the normal college kid things, the normal things, what the world calls normal. But, obviously, ended up having a great group of friends who just understood me. And, but obviously it's been a struggle just to keep faith, but you just got to trust in God and just put good people around you. So.
Yeah, I will definitely say, a lot of people say when you get to college, you really find out who your friends are. And I wouldn't say I've always strove, I guess, would that be the word, strove or strived? I don't know. I've always strove to be the type of person to not just typically listen to people when it comes to certain stuff. Like I was like, no, like I'm still going to be friends with certain people and I'm still going to do this and do that. And I will say, like, Hudson, for starters, I mean, it's like my best friend, and we've always been friends since the 5th grade. And there's other guys like Dawson McMahon, Devin Stetson, people that I still hang out with regularly and are close with. But there's also other people that I literally never talk to. And I've had to like really, make an effort to be like, okay, who are my friends? And are these people leading me closer to the Lord, or are they, skewing me away? And I don't think there's anything wrong with like, maybe you have a friend that doesn't believe in Jesus, or, they may not be up there in your faith. I don't want to even sound, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with like going out to eat with them or witnessing to them, but I guess it's kind of just like who's in your ear,
Yeah. Well, I mean, part of it as a Christian, obviously you don't want to be around people that are going to cause you to do these certain things, especially, if you're feeling tempted, obviously you need to back away from these things, or these people that may be tempting you to do these things. But so I'm doing a podcast.
We got people coming in our rooms.
Yeah, this is my roommate. You want to say hi?
I should have told Caleb to come say hi. I felt bad.
That's the Cade Burris from Walnut Ridge.
Hey.
From Williams.
Yeah, from what?
Anyways, what I was saying, what was that? Obviously I don't want to like turn away from those people that are doing things and just be like, I don't want to be judgmental, basically. Like, obviously, like, I love those people and I don't want to make them feel like, hey man, like, I'm not trying to be like, listen, I'm a Christian, you do this. Like, obviously I'm gonna love those people and I'm gonna still do me. So just loving everybody, and we have no right to judge anyone. So just loving those people that do, that may not be equal to like how you think.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I know I've had experience with that before, with having to, like I said, like distance myself from people, but also like, not act like, hey, I'm too good for you or whatever. Mike, Michael and I have talked about that a lot. Mike, don't you remember what we said? I think it was Pastor Craig Rochelle that said, we change people not by judging them, but by loving them.
Yeah. And sometimes, and that's why, like, sometimes, man, you got to watch your attitude, how you are against these guys, or like, and also, I show up to stuff all the time. But, just because I may not do certain things, I mean, I'm not turning away from these people. I'm not going to sit here and bash them.
Oh, yeah, definitely not. Yeah. Well, I've had trouble. Tell me if you've ever had trouble with this, because, both of you, I want to know if you've ever had trouble with this. So have you ever had trouble with like balancing being competitive with also showing Jesus? And what I mean by that is, like, baseball's not really a trash talking sport, is it? Or maybe it is. I don't know.
It is, trust me.
Really? So, like, have you ever had trouble, like, you say something to somebody and you're like, dang it, like,
that's not just baseball, man. That's anything competitive, whether it's anything, dude. Whether I'm on the baseball field or we're out doing competitive, playing football or video games, dude. Sometimes that happens and I struggle with that too, or just bashing somebody like, come on, man, like, what are you doing? I struggle. Obviously I struggle with that too, but also there's nothing wrong with being a little competitive.
I struggle with my balance. I really do. Like,
show a little love.
What?
I guess like showing a little love, pick them up at the same time.
Dude, no, see, I do that though. Like I think, do you ever do that? Like what I do, like I don't trash talk, but I'll like give them like little looks.
Man,
like that.
I definitely sometimes trash talk a little bit. Not gonna lie. That's just how it is.
I think every athlete, I don't care what sport you're in or how you was raised.
Yeah.
It's gonna show up some kind of way. You may be the silent player. You may not say a word the entire game, but your mindset is like, yeah, I just did that. Yeah, I purposely believe. Well, I basically believe that God has designed men to be that way off the bat, or any competitor, especially guys. I ain't gonna get into the alpha, but guys in general, we're competitive. We're going like, we want to see like, who's the toughest, who's the strongest, who's the fastest. Like, you could think about it. I'm gonna keep it in the Christian context. Guys will be like, let me pick up like 12 different chairs all at one time. Like, is a girl really gonna be like, oh my gosh, she picked up 12 chairs? Like, that's who I want to be my man. Like, no, but that's a mindset, like, just as a little kid. And it's like, no one ever told us that. Like, no one was like, hey, bro, you pick up enough chairs, they're gonna notice you. It's just our brains be like, yeah, I'm gonna pick up.
It's all about that picking that something. Hey, I'm strong.
Yeah.
And it shows even in our sports. And it's not something that we should be ashamed or tamper down. Like, let it be, but let it, as long as the sport is not who we are, who we find our identity in. Because when someone, I guess the real test to check yourself is, while you're talking it, if someone says something back to you, do you take it personal?
Yes.
Like if it cuts you deep, you drifting. You like all right, Lord, like help me, humble me, bring me back. But if if you're saying it and you like, yeah, I hope that hurt them. That's when you should really check yourself. They're just talking. It's in the moment. It's in the heat of the game. And if you really do cross a line, like afterwards, hey man, my bad. And some of that stuff was a little bit too much.
I will tell you, I can't stand when like we are just like messing around or whatever. Yeah. Like I guarantee you, if like Hayden, I don't know if you've even thought about this. Have you thought about like being an FCA, like a huddle leader this summer or anything?
No, not this summer, but we do some stuff here.
Well, I'm just saying, like, say I'm a huddle leader and Hayden's a huddle leader, and like we're like, at FCA camp, dude. Like we're at FCA camp and like my team I'm gonna say my team beats his. Let's say my team beats. I'm doing it right now. Like, and I say something and I'm like, good job, like good game, bro. And then like after that, he's like, dude, get away from me. Get away from me. Like, I can't stand that. Like, I can't stand when it's not left out there. You know what I mean?
Well, being competitive, man, like, bro, there's nothing wrong with being competitive and going at somebody. Like, I mean, I think it just gets bad when you're just, you take it to a personal level. Mm-hmm. Like Michael said, like, just taking it personal. I mean, there's nothing wrong. I mean, dude, I've had times with my dad where we're being competitive and just bashing each other, That's just how it is. He'd be like, what you going to do about it? And I'm like, all right, I'll show you what I'm going to do.
Aren't you taller than your dad?
I am taller than dad, but he's definitely stronger than me.
Yeah. Like, don't let it fool you.
But no, man, being competitive, it just, when you take it personal, just, I don't know, just how you act when you are competitive.
Yeah, because I went through a phase. It was around the time, it was when COVID was happening. It was me, Stetson, Austin Reeves, and Spencer Reeves, and we were in the gym like every night because, we didn't have anything else to do. So we literally just went to the gym, played 2-on-2 or played pickup or played whatever. And I was in like a little stage where I just wouldn't, like, I was just talking like all the time. Cause if you know Spencer, bro, Spencer doesn't shut up. Like he'll get a bucket on you and he'll let you hear about it. So then I went through a little phase. I picked up on that and I went through this phase where like anytime I did anything good, I would just talk, and I had to step back and just be like, what am I doing? Like, like I'm so high when I do something great, but I'm so low whenever I get beat. And I'm like, I had to kind of just step back. And one of my favorite quotes is, we must be proud of our accomplishments without allowing them to define us. Like, that's like one of my favorite quotes. And I think like I've kind of went through that now, and I go back and forth. I think I have good balance now. I think I talk a little, but not enough for it to be bad.
There's nothing, man. I honestly don't think there's nothing wrong with it. Just when you get past competitive and you just keep going, just once you start like actually bashing the person, like you come off, angry or something like that, that's when it just gets out of hand. And that's with anybody, man.
I will tell you, and tell me if I'm wrong. It doesn't matter if it's on the court, if it's at the house, whatever it is. When people get mad and people start bashing, like you said, you really start to like hear what's on their mind about you.
Oh, dude, that's happened. And I've had it, dude. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm perfect. I've had times where I'm so mad at somebody if we're playing something and I just go off on them, man. And I'm just like, dadgum. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, why did I say that? It's just in the heat of the moment, and I just got to become a man and be like, yo, dude, I'm sorry about that.
Look, I kind of want to flip the conversation more to like, I know Michael wants to go into seminary, or he's going to seminary right now. This man, as of right now, I mean, maybe, I think you want to be a pastor, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you want to be a pastor, and Hayden, you and I have both talked about, I have different dreams with basketball. Hayden, I know you've said you've talked about coaching. You've talked about doing it few different things. I want to talk about the fact that no matter where you're at, you can witness to people about Jesus, no matter where you're at. And like, have you thought about what you could do as a coach to, to maybe impact people?
See, that's like one of the main reasons that I do want to be a coach. And, it always started like, obviously my dad's a pastor. And I feel like sometimes it's like, you're going to think about like, what could I see myself doing that? And I always thought about it. It's like, man, could I see myself doing this? Would it be a great thing? Obviously God has different callings for everybody. And for me, I love sports, and I love like being able to see kids grow and like teach them different things, so I'm going into teaching and coaching. And like, I probably had it on my mind as an early kid, like since ninth grade, I think I want to be a coach. Like this is how it is. But, I want to be a coach that can be able to like, lead people to Christ. I want to be a man, a good Christian man that's able to, be here for his kids, not just in the sport that whatever I coach, but I'm teaching them just to be a good athlete or a good baseball, football player, whatever it is. But I mean, a good human, a good Christian, and that's that's been a big part of me. That's one thing that I really want to do is just be able to tell kids about Christ through coaching, being a great example. So I'm glad you brought that up, because, I don't talk about that a lot, because it's always, you're always talking about that job, but the coaching's not what defines me. It's like, I'm a Christian before I'm anything. Yes. So as I'm coaching, I just want to glorify God through that. So that's a big deal for me.
Yeah. And
you saying that, just to sprinkle a little on there, I think that it applies not just as a coach or anyone that's like stepping into like a leadership role, or just men in general. That's every single believer, everywhere that you are. Like, you do everything with all your might unto Christ. Like, you're doing it as a representation, as a representative of Christ, and you're doing it to connect with people, so that people get to the point and they look at you and they're like, you're different. I like that about you. There's something different. What is it? Like, what drives you? What pushes you to that point? And the mindset that you have, Hayden, is absolutely going. If you keep this up, it's going to flow. Like, not just kiddos, not just your former players, but everyone that you come into contact with will have that. Will see the Spirit of God flowing out of you, bro.
I love that, because, I think, sometimes we deal with that, my dad's a pastor, and my mom works for FCA now. If you didn't, I don't know if you know that, Hayden. We're super excited. But then, but mom was a teacher and a coach for a long time. Your mom's a teacher and your dad's a pastor. And I think sometimes people like, see, different stuff, and they're like, oh, they're going to do this because their parents did this, or they're going to do this and it's like, I've thought to myself that, sometimes I get anxious because like I have ideas, but I don't have this set out plan. And I have to continually remind myself that why I'm ultimately here, no matter where I'm at, is to show Jesus and to bring people to Jesus.
No, exactly. And obviously, for me too, I do see my mom, like, I see her as a teacher and some of the stuff she does, that really digs into me as well of, I love the way my mom, cares for these kids, as a teacher, like I want to be that way. Like I want to be able to help kids as ways I've seen my mom just like I said, care for these kids and try to help their lives. That's a big part of it for me, is being a coach and teacher. And I've seen my dad coach, and just, I've looked up to so many great coaches, throughout my time playing, who's ever coached me, and just really taken some great things from them. So that's just been a big part of it for me as well.
I think, Michael, you told me that. I think you said that coaches are like the most influential people in young people's lives. Like there's like a stat on it or something.
No, I can't remember the numbers, but absolutely. It's because, especially for young men, like we're looking for that to show. Well, we're looking to show ourselves like what we can do, and that ability. And we have especially good coaches that see that either potential or they see that natural skill, and then they start to pour into us and they start to give us words of affirmation. They start, to clap us up. That moment of like, yes,
Yeah.
I'm doing it. Yes, I am something. And
Yeah.
not everyone gets to hear that on a daily basis. And it can, like we've talked about, and it kind of goes full circle. I think this is where some of us begin to drift. So when someone does bash us in the heat of the moment or says some words to us, why it hurts so much. Because
Right.
I don't know, this is one area that I know I'm good at. This is one area that I know, like, I got a good control on. And so when someone says do it, it's like, ooh, you're hitting that soft spot. You're hitting my identity just a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. Because like, bro, a coach's words can make you or break you. I remember so many times, and I'm not talking about pushing you. Like, dude, I remember, I don't know how much you guys like Coach Walls. Coach Walls is like my favorite coach I ever had, because Coach Walls, like, I don't know, man, me and him had such a personal connection, but he also, like, he would never call me stupid or anything, but he would like get in my face and be like, I know you can do better. Like, I know you're better than this, and I know that you can do this and that. And he would always like build me up. But I mean, he would yell and it'd be funny. But I mean,
no, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's part of just growing up and being a man too. Like, because you can relate that stuff to not just coaching, but anywhere in life.
Yeah.
So it's great to have people push you. I mean, that's what they're there to do, to push you to be better. Obviously they're going to jump in you if they see you not doing what they know you can do,
For sure. Yeah.
But
yeah. Well, this has been very fun. Hayden, thank you so much for coming on, man. I love your wisdom. I love your love for the Lord, and I love your love for life, man. I love seeing what you're doing, and I'm continuing to pray that, God will use you at OBU and with your platform and with everything you're doing, man.
Man, thank you so much. I'm glad that I got to come on here. I know we kind of been talking about it for a while, and I've watched a couple of y'all's little videos. So keep doing it, man. It's awesome that you're just, expressing expressing the Lord, man, and you're being you, and you don't, just not caring that what people know about you, that you are a follower of Christ, and sharing all these things with people, man. And that's just awesome, man. And I strive to be that way too. Just just a light. I strive to be a light in this dark world that we are in,
Telling you. Mike, got anything to say?
Hey man, God is good.
Yes, sir. Hayden, I'm gonna ask you one more time, because I don't think we can get off of here until you answer this beautiful question correctly.
Oh man.
Hayden Childers, whose time are you on?
God's time.
You're on God's time, baby. Yes, sir. All right.
I got that time.
All right. See you guys later.
Peace out, man. Thank you.